men have become such fucking weak bitches.
Oof.
We have. As a species, we are. We are. We are not the men who stormed Normandy in the 40s. We are not. We have become soft. We have become gullible. We become weak as a species. And because of that, all three of us, no matter how old we are, we're in the top 0.01% of men because we have a good job and because we're in shape. Period.
Whose nipples are hard?
My nipples.
Aren't they always hard?
Just when I'm around you. Just when I'm around you.
This is the sus stuff.
And that leads us into, what do you think about Andrew Tate?
I think that if you take the positives of Andrew Tate, they're very good.
Top G.
He has a lot of motivational, empowering advice. So a lot of people will say that he's a bit misogynistic. I'm not really seeing it. I just think that he has a viewpoint on how males and females interact in society. And that's his opinion. Does that make him a misogynist? Maybe. Who am I to say? Overall, I think Andrew Tate is a net positive.
We got this clip from a podcast that you've been on. We didn't know you were on Fresh and Fit before. By the way, for context, how long have you both been married and how many kids do you have?
Yeah, I've been married since 2000. And I got 2 kids.
Yep. 2002. So, going on 21 years, been together, 25, 3 kids.
Okay. Same wife from the beginning.
Yeah.
Both of you guys. Yeah. Okay.
The word cheating is the wrong word.
It's not cheating.
Because it's cheating if you're like, I really like this other girl. If you catch your man and he's completely in love with some other girl, then yeah, that's cheating. If he has a second relationship, yeah, that's cheating. If he comes home and he smells a pussy and he's like, who was that girl? And he's like, I don't even fucking know. I'm sorry. I don't even know. It's exercise. Who cares? Like, if he doesn't care, why would you care?
It is cheating.
Yeah.
So he's saying that if he's just looking at it as exercise and not an intimate relationship.
It's just sex. Just meat on meat. That's all.
I don't really think that, I guess in the animal kingdom, but as humans, we shouldn't undervalue what sex is between a man and a woman. It's intimacy. It's an expression of love. And I think that's where we go wrong as a society is when we start looking at sex as just an act. We start sexualizing people. And then you just lose all focus of what's important. And in society, if you look at what thrives best, it's going to be a nuclear family with a mom and a dad, right? And when you start looking at sex as just a recreational activity and not something that leads to something more biologically sustainable, like having a family and having that commitment to each other in society as we are today, the most advantageous messaging to put across is that you should have a family and you should raise your children.
Back to what you were saying, like that's where it comes where respect is. And communication.
Yep.
If you communicate with me, we're good.
Yep.
Now, don't overbound it, though.
Yep.
That's where we're going to have problems.
Yep.
But we're going to be good. So
she's saying if you communicate that you're out there,
no matter what you make, I'm down for you.
No, see, and I respect that because that's the healthy way to do it, right?
Right.
If you're a man and you're lying, then you're a punk. If you're gonna come home and lie to the girl you care about over some dumb bitch, then yeah, you're a punk, right? But if you come home and say, look, I was out last night, I was acting crazy, there was girls in the house, I fucked some girl, I don't know her fucking name. She ain't got my number. If she messaged me on Insta, I blocked her. Who gives a shit, right? Let's go for dinner. Then it is what it is, right? It is what it is. But if you're gonna sit there and go, no, I didn't touch her, I promise I didn't do it. Most men make the mistake because they just lie. And when you lie, you look like a coward.
What is sex, right? It's an act of intimacy.
Yeah.
So whether it's for the male or the female, intimacy goes both ways.
Yeah, it should.
If you have sex and you have no emotional attachment, like you're just masturbating, right? Like it's just masturbating with a vagina as your hand. Does that make sense? Okay, so
That sounded interesting.
So I like how it's right there where it needs to be.
Always at the ready.
As if you need it.
So the act of intimacy is the key. So my thing is I want to address what the young lady says. Now, as someone who's been on this podcast, from my experience, these girls are not the best and brightest that America has to offer. So her opinion is, if you cheat on me, that's fine. You just got to be straight with me. Not one woman with a brain cell or any ounce of self-respect is going to agree with that statement. Everybody I know who's tried the whole open relationship thing doesn't work. You know why? Because what happens? Somebody catches feelings because sex is a vulnerable, intimate place. Like, right? Like if you're dumpster diving on a girl, she's vulnerable. She's bent over, you're dumpster diving. Yeah. You're down there. So, I mean, at the end of the day, these are just random girls in Miami, right? Again, I don't think these girls are representative of an average female. I also don't think that Andrew Tate is representative of culture. I do like Andrew Tate. Like I said, I think he's a net positive on his messaging, but this is a caricature. I don't think Andrew Tate even believes this shit. It's crazy. But like I said, when you have an open relationship, the risk is that someone catches feelings, whether a dude falls in love with a girl or the girl falls in love with a dude. And that's always going to be a risk. So I do not think men as a whole can separate sex from feelings. It is the most intimate thing two people can do.
Yeah.
And if we start disconnecting feelings and intimacy from sex, that's a problem. That's a societal problem.
Why would she leave the big boss who looks after her over some fucking stupid shit that happens a couple times a fucking year? Who gives a fuck?
The big boss, man.
The big boss. It ain't happening.
Times have changed. Women are the big boss now. So
Exactly.
I have my own money. I can take care of myself. So if you're cheating, I can cheat too. Just have that same energy, you know?
Exactly.
Okay,
Have
no.
that same
With the modern woman, do men need to bring more to the table than just the ability to make money?
I think it's the same stuff we always needed to bring. Emotional support, of course, physical support. When you're out and about,
Yeah.
like you can walk down the street without worrying about getting mugged if you're with one of us. And I disagree. I'm going to go back to what she said, that women are in charge now. Actually, I think right now, men are in the driver's seat more than ever. And that's because if you make good income and you're in shape, you are automatically in the top 0.001%. With obesity where it is, and I don't care any of these women say. Look, I know what my DMs have, and I'm by no means the greatest looking guy in the world. I guarantee you my DMs are a bit different than another soccer dad's DMs who doesn't have a 6-pack abs and who looks like has muscle like I do. Okay, at the end of the day, if you are not even, I'm not even talking jacked. If you're just not fat and you make good money, you are a fucking unicorn.
You have a lot of options.
You have the golden ticket. And again, like I said earlier, every girl on this show, I could take care of myself. No, you can't. You're still going to look for that dude who makes good money. Period.
Because it's a status thing.
Bingo. They don't want to drive around in a Corolla. That's just the facts. That's just facts. For most of these women, at the end of the day, men are right now in control because men have become such fucking weak bitches.
Oof.
We have, as a species, we are. We are not the men who stormed Normandy in the 40s. We are not. We have become soft. We have become gullible. We become weak as a species. And because of that, you know, here we are. We're literally, all three of us, no matter how old we are, we're in the top 0.01% of men because we have a good job and because we're in shape. Period.
Power Project family, if you're trying to increase your muscle mass, if you're trying to lose body fat, if you're trying to stick to your nutrition plan, if you're trying to get fit, pretty much if there's anything you're trying to do for your health, we know that sleep is the biggest determining factor to help you get from point A to point B. That's why we've been sleeping on 8 Sleep mattresses for probably more than 2 years now. And the main reason is the technology behind the Pod Pro. Now, the Pod Pro is like the Tesla of beds. It will change its temperature based off of how you're sleeping during the night. And if you have a partner that's sleeping on the other side, they could have their own temperature settings. We all sleep hot here, and I used to wake up in a puddle of my own sweat. Gross. That doesn't happen anymore because of the 8 Sleep mattress, and I've been getting the best sleep of my life. Now, if you don't want to replace your mattress, you can just get the Pod Pro cover, and you can put that over your current mattress to get all the benefits of 8 Sleep. But if you also need to replace your old nasty mattress, you can get the Pod Pro cover and the 8 Sleep mattress. Andrew, how can they get it?
Yes, you guys got to head over to 8sleep.com/powerproject, and you guys will automatically receive $150 off of your order. Again, 8sleep.com/powerproject. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
If I sleep with another woman, I am still faithful to you.
No, you're not.
Yes, I
No,
am.
you're not.
No.
Yes, I am.
So if a woman sleeps with another man that's with you, is
Okay.
she faithful to you?
No, absolutely not. Don't say crazy stuff on the podcast. Don't say crazy things.
Keep that same energy.
I have a
Put about the
question.
same energy. You
It's
have
not.
to.
You're thinking of men and women as men and women have completely different roles in society. We have completely different attributes, completely different advantages. We go through life in completely different ways. You can't compare us as an equal. You wouldn't consider men and women equal in 99% of situations where men are expected to perform.
I haven't seen this episode of Fresh and Fit. So I can see why people hate the guy. Because this is a very fucked up message for most people to hear. Especially imagine just a standard suburban housewife listening to this. Like, I don't want my kids listening to this. But yet his other stuff is magical.
In what way do you think that this is not good for maybe young men to hear?
I think we should pretty much raise our children with the ideals that monogamy is the goal in a relationship. I just think societally it's better.
Does he not believe in that, or do we even know?
Okay, so this is the thing. Like, when you get yourself to be this type of 1% or a high value man, no, he doesn't think that, yeah, you can get into a relationship, but if you're a high value man, you probably are not going to be monogamous to the woman that you're with. Thing is, though, also this message, when you think of becoming a high value or a 1%er, maybe the top 1% of men or 5% of men can do this successfully because they have so many options. But even though everyone's trying to become that type of person, not everybody will be that type of person because of the nature of being a 1 or 5%er. But do you want to be that person? It sounds nice. Think about this. I don't want to.
Biologically,
right? It sounds nice. Like, oh yeah, I have this woman at home and I'm maybe having a family with her and she loves me and I love her and everything's good. But I can stick my dick in a bunch of other women too and she's going to be cool with it. It sounds nice. Now with application, is it?
It's a really interesting topic and interesting conversation in so many different ways, because just thinking of people that I know that have made it to really high levels, it's hard for me to think of somebody that hasn't cheated. That doesn't mean they don't exist. And then it's like, well, at what point, at what level, how high of a level do you get to cheat? Like, okay,
we need numbers.
Yeah. 100 million. Okay, you get to go, do your thing. But yeah, I know a lot of famous people that have had some errors along the way, and it's interesting. I mean, they're still married and they're still with. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that maybe people just thinking about this in maybe slightly different ways isn't the worst thing. Because if you're super fucking famous, I'm not saying we should accept it and try to make exceptions, but at the same time, I mean, if you're The Rock.
NBA players have services for this. Yeah. That's why they'll have certain women sign NDAs, and they have people that go and find, like, they're like, I want to fuck that one. So they will have somebody that will go give that person paperwork, let them know who's interested, and they will be able to do that.
That's a thing.
That's a thing. That's a thing for like these types of people with that type of income.
I want to be the agent. Excuse me. My client would like to fornicate with you or consort with you tonight.
Even so, like this type of stuff already exists, but you think about it, it is literally for those types of that 1% or that person that just has disgusting amount of options. But when we think about a guy that, let's say, he's attractive, right? Makes 80 to 120, 100. Like, you'll have options, but maybe this lifestyle isn't the safest thing for you to think as being an ideal for yourself.
I just don't see a high value woman being able to put up with you going out and banging other chicks. I just don't see that happening. Mm-hmm. I don't think that Mark's wife or my wife would be like, that sounds great. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. It's like, hey, while I'm in Sacramento, I'm going to go find some hoes. Like, I don't think my wife would be too cool with me traveling.
And I wouldn't want my son's mother to be okay with that too.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying.
Huge character flaw.
Yeah, I don't want my son growing up thinking that that's normal.
There's one thing, though, I do want to mention. The stuff we're mentioning here, the red pill ideology also is trying to protect men in terms of being in a long-term relationship. Because there are dangers of getting married. There are statistical dangers of divorce and losing everything that you've had. There are many men with that story that have turned to the red pill ideology as being something like, I wish I understood this about relationships and intersexual dynamics so that I didn't lose my home and my kids and this. So there are aspects where this is trying to protect men from that. But I still agree with you guys, and I still have the goal of being in a monogamous relationship with a family. But having the full understanding of what I'm getting myself into is very important.
Marriage it's kind of like starting a business. The deck is stacked against you. You have to make sure it's the right person, but how can you know? And also, people change. Like, I met my wife when I was 16. I'm a way different person than when I was 16. So you take a lot of risk.
Yeah.
I've said many times, if it was now, would I get married? I don't know. Like, why do you need to get married? Why is this? This is a whole nother conversation. Why is the state involved in my relationship? Why can't we just be together, have kids, and cohabitate? Oh, but what about power of attorney? It's all you need to do. Hey, if I'm dying, you can pull the plug. Power of attorney. So you don't really need to be married. Now, when I say committed relationship, I'm not talking about like, you don't need to get married. Marriage is an inherent risk. And imagine if you're someone, like you're a successful guy, right? How do you truly know? And I'm not questioning your current relationship.
I know.
How do you truly know that your love is genuine? Because like, I know because I was poor as fuck and fat.
That was your story too.
Yeah. Poor and fat. Poor and fat.
We weren't fat.
Now I'm rich and jacked.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's one of those things where, okay, I managed to, get in a relationship early. So what do you do if you're Andrew Tate or you're Nsima or whatever? And you're like, okay, I'm going to find the one, but where do you find the one? Like the internet? Like generally, if you're in the fitness industry, is that really the kind of girl you could trust with that? Because fitness girls are crazy. So you need to protect yourself. Maybe that's where a prenup comes into play.
Absolutely.
Female promiscuity has always, since the dawn of human time, across every culture that's ever existed, from China to the Aztecs, been frowned upon.
He's right.
Every single culture since the dawn of human time has mocked women who are promiscuous. If you were a hoe, you were laughed at. Female promiscuity across every culture since the dawn of human time has been seen as a negative. If you keep sleeping with X dude, popping Plan Bs, taking the morning after pill, and removing the stigma, and now it's like, oh, I'll just fuck this guy. That cheapens you. It doesn't matter if a man slept with 20 girls or 200 girls. He is still the man. If a woman slept with 200 men, she is worth less.
Damn.
This is the basis of the
Facts.
game. No
Facts.
man is going to marry a woman that 200 men slammed and threw to the street.
I think he's kind of right. Women have come a long way in equality.
Yes.
Almost too far, where it's kind of shit on men in the process and caused. I mean, that's
almost too far.
it has. It absolutely has, because
Like a correction in the other direction. Yeah.
the feminist movement has completely destroyed the American
It has.
male.
Yep.
Feminist movement is the worst thing to happen to society. You want to know what crime's up? Because we told men that women can do just as well without you, right? No, bullshit. Fatherless households are at a great disadvantage that your mom told you about. It's at a great disadvantage to a multi-parent household. But feminists, oh no, no, you're not the fucking same. Gender's not fucking fluid. You're a man or you're a woman. Men have biological roles. Women have biological roles. They have throughout time. However, women have come a long way. Women should have the right to work, have the right. Now, can a woman go on and fucking play football in the NFL? I'd hate to see the size of that bitch. But there's a physical difference between men and women, but as far as in the workplace, having the right to vote, all that good stuff, absolutely, women are equal to men. Absolutely, women can be better CEOs than men. My CEO now is a woman. She's amazing. She's way better than I ever was. My wife is better at a lot of things in the workforce as I am. So, but as far as biological roles are concerned, there's a huge discrepancy. Men just do men shit. It just is what it is. It's like women can do everything men can do. And I don't know why the glass ceiling. I don't know. Why don't you go work on a fucking oil rig? There's a difference. Look, at the end of the day, if you're sleeping around, you're sleeping around. Whether you're a man or a woman, it's what you choose to do.
Yeah.
And everybody's fucking each other. Oh, he fucked you. You didn't fuck him. No, you're fucking each other. Okay, so there is a discrepancy, but historically, Andrew Tate is correct. But I think we can all agree that we have come a long way since when women were different. And also a lot of countries are just back ass. Like Middle East, Sharia law. I don't think anybody here is arguing that that's the way to go. We don't need women covering their face.
This is where, as an individual, you make your choice as a man, how you look at your own personal promiscuity. Because, yeah, he's right. Like, men that have as more notches on the bedpost, generally when they talk to other guys about it, guys are like, yeah, that's awesome. But for me personally, the way I kind of look at that is like, I think you should build yourself up to the point that you have as many options as you like.
Yes.
But then you should also probably have the self-control to not have to operate on all those options. It takes a while for a man to be able to get to the point where he has a lot of sexual options, because a man generally has to become that type of man, whereas a woman can be hot and young, and she doesn't sometimes even need to be hot, and she can get as much dick as she wants. But you have to become that man to be able to have those options. For at least my personal philosophy is like, yeah, I want to be that guy, but then I also have and I want the self-control not to exercise options. I can't imagine that any of you really have the time to think about, okay, I need to think about who I want to go waste my time.
Who has time for sex? I don't have time for sex with my wife. Like, dude, I was like, Monday night, Sunday night, I know I'm flying out Monday, and I was at a wrestling tournament all day. I had to get my workout in. I had to prep my fucking packing. I'm like, man, I hope she's fucking not in the mood. I'm fucking tired.
Yeah.
I fell asleep before she even got in bed, man. She was still brushing her teeth. I was fucking snoring. Yeah. I'm like, nah, fuck it. I fell asleep. I'm good. But then I'll toss it on. I'm like, yeah, it seems like you're not in the mood lately. Yeah. It's like you were asleep before I even got to bed. So, I mean, if you're busy as fuck and you're in a relationship, to be sexually active with your partner, that's fucking tough sometimes. When you have 3 kids all playing fucking 3 different sports and you have 10 businesses and you're fucking boxing and lifting and running and whatever the fuck else we do, like, who's got time to chase ass? Like, I would need like Uber ass. I didn't need Uber to drive some fucking, one of these hoes to my house.
That's Tinder.
Yeah.
That's Tinder. Uber ass is pretty much it. And seriously, let us know. Y'all think that a high value guy should be able to just fuck around, and as long as he's taking care of everything at home, let me know.
At Marc Lobliner, everything but YouTube. That's youtube.com/tigerfitness.
Strength is never weakness. Weakness is never strength. Catch you guys later.